Shalom וברוכים הבאים. My name is Rabbi Yitzchak Shapira and I'm your host of Cheezok Emunah. Literally mean the strengthening of your faith, where we take specific questions about Yeshua, the Jewish Messiah, and we answer them. I would like to take another week to go through this idea of the Mashiach who is greater than Moses himself. I'd like to invite to the studio, welcome you, Binyamin Berton, that you're here with me. I want to expound on this idea, and let's put this question that was asked to us a couple of times. In essence, the question goes like that. If the Mashiach is truly the Mashiach, he cannot really be greater than Moses. He cannot be greater because Moses, there is one in Brit HaChadashah. We read the quote, they say, we have Moses. We don't need anything else. But we already learned that the Messiah will be greater than Abraham, than Isaac, Jacob, than Moses himself. And there's the idea that the last Redeemer, the Redeemer, will resemble the first Redeemer. Right. So we talked a little bit about this idea of the donkey of the Messiah. But I like to look specifically at the parallels that not given by us, but given by our sages, that related to this idea of the replica of the Mashiach, or in Moses, to the promised Messiah of Israel. I'd like us to turn together to an interesting passage from Exodus in the book of Shemot, and let us read this together, Ben.
In English it says, "Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses, but Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh, and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well."
Now, it's interesting that it's mentioned here that the rabbi saw this idea of the well is a very important idea. What the well has in it, it's water. It's water. But the rabbis explained that he was a Mashiach in a sense because he drew water. He drew the water from the well, okay? But he was not the rightful owner of the water of the well. Okay? Who was the owner of the waters in the well? It is the Mashiach himself. And they explain Moses was next to the well. The Messiah is going to be one level higher. He is going to be the owner of the well. Wow. And Yeshua himself is the only one who says what? Those who are thirsty, come to me.
That's amazing.
Come to me, because he is the rightful owner. Going specifically with the Jewish Midrash. Right. Now, Moses himself, in Deuteronomy 18, referred to the fact that there's going to be yet another prophet that comes. Like me. So let us look specifically at what Moses himself said, because we have to believe Moses.
Right.
So see what Moses said. And what Moses says here?
He says, "A prophet the Lord your God will raise up to you from the midst of you, of your brethren, like unto me, unto him you shall hearken."
Now let's look at the Hebrew. The Hebrew here says, "Navi mikirbecha." What is the word kirbecha mean? It's mean it will be karov. It will be close. It will be from within you. It will be somebody will be raised upon from within the people. It's not going to be a goy, it's going to be a Jew that's working. And what did he say here? Tishme'un. The word to hearken, tishme'un, is much more than listen to him. The entire idea of lishma in Hebrew is the idea na'aseh v'nishma. He's saying he's elevated this person even above himself. He's almost saying that this person will be given a great authority. Who is this person?
Well, let's look and see what the Targum says.
The Targum, and why it's important to look at the Targum, because it's the way our people understood it.
It's one of the most ancient interpretations of the Torah is the Targum, which is the Aramaic interpretation of this particular passage.
Let us look together at what the Targum has to say. So let's turn to the Targum, Targum Yonatan, and the 18th chapter, verse 15. And actually it's repeating again in 18:18, and it says what?
It says, "A prophet out of your midst and out of your brothers, like to me, I will raise from the Holy Spirit, whom you shall receive."
So there's something that is almost hard to digest that give us a clue about the Messiah here. He used the term in Aramaic, Didma li beruach dekutsha.
Wow, the Ruach HaKodesh in Hebrew.
So it's a clue that he will be raised, he will come, and the word here to be raised is the way he's going to come into the world, the way he's going to come about to the world. He's going to come, and he's wording the word Yakim again here. He's going to come in a supernatural way.
It's incredible.
And matter of fact, in Psalm 2:7, it says, God says, Ayom ani yaldaticha. There's also a clue there because a birth is given by a woman. But the scripture says that he will be birthed through the mighty one of Israel.
Today I have begotten you in the English.
Yeah, it's important to understand this. Matter of fact, the Ralbag continue on. It gives us an amazing connection to all of this. It says that the Messiah will be prosper and it will be elevated. It will be greater than Moses. And then he says that this Messiah will draw all nations worship God, as it is written in Zephaniah 3:9. Then will I return to the people a pure language. They will call upon my name, the name of the Lord, etc., etc. And they will see his marvelous things. The scripture seems to suggest, Ben, that he's going to come to the world in a supernatural way.
It's a very amazing passage in the Targum.
And coming back to this idea of this donkey for a moment. Right. Let's talk about this because people think about it. By the way, before we even talk about the donkey, we talked a few minutes ago about this water, about Moses being by the water.
Absolutely.
We need to understand what water represents.
Right.
The water represents not just a new birth. Let us look real quickly on this next slide to understand what the word water, because Moses stood by the water, right?
Right.
And if you remember, he was told to speak to the rock, right? But he hit the rock. What is the rock represented? He gave water. The word water in Hebrew is the word mayim, right?
And it's an amazing connection here because when he says he strikes the rock is the Hebrew word nakah.
Right.
In Zechariah 13, when it says strike the shepherd, it's using the same exact Hebrew word.
Well, but the rabbis continue on and explain to us that the word here is rachamim.
For water, yeah.
Rachamim, which literally mercy. Yeah. Mercy. So he is the Lord of mercy. Moses gave us the water, he gave us redemption. But Messiah will give us something even greater. That's a derivation of the word water. He is the owner of the mercy. He is the Lord of mercies. And I see a connection to this Lord of mercy again with this idea of the donkey that he will be riding upon. What is the connection between mercy to riding, the lowly king riding upon the donkey? Do you care to add upon this a little bit?
It's a very interesting question. In Zechariah chapter 9, verse 9, talking about the Messiah coming, rejoice, O daughter of Zion, your king comes to you, lowly and riding upon a donkey. It's a fascinating passage.
Interesting.
And to me, I've always looked at it as the Mashiach ben David, but you have in the book Kosher Pego, it links to even Mashiach ben Yosef.
Yeah. Actually, matter of fact, Rashi himself make a connection in his commentary to Isaiah 26:6. He said, the fate of a poor man, it is King Messiah, who is referred to the poor man, who is writing to the donkey. And then he continued, go on, and Rabbi Sadiq on, he said, this will be a sign of his humility. He will be so humble. He will be riding upon something like a donkey. However, it says, he will be accompanied by the clouds of heaven, as it says in Daniel 7:13. What is the upshot here? That both prophecies have to come to fruition.
Right.
Both are true. And he did not apply it to different messiahs.
That's an interesting concept because in Kol HaTorah, it says here, talking about a lowly person riding on a donkey, it says the Mashiach ben Yosef is a lowly person. And that's interesting here that Sa'ad Gaon connects the two.
And actually, the Ramban continue on Zechariah 9:9, and he says that not only that it's referred to the Messiah, but he says, as many were astonished at thee. That's in Isaiah. Their astonishment was shown by mocking him when he first arrived. He will be mocked, he will be rejected. And then by asking how one despised meek upon riding upon an ass, he will be despised, he will be rejected. Just as Moses has been despised, he's been rejected.
Wow.
You know, in Exodus 6, he's making the point that Moses has been rejected. So is again, the Messiah of Israel will be despised and will be rejected.
And this is an important question. The Pesik Rabbati talks about the Messiah. Here it is, the Messiah suffering. Why is he rejected? Why is he's insulted and he sits in such pain and anguish? Is for the atonement of the entire world.
So the atonement of the entire world. Only God can provide an atonement, Ben.
Right.
That means that the Messiah have the atonement to give the atonement to the world, and it's going exactly. Rachamim. He's the Lord of the water. He's the holder of the Rachamim from the water. Right. Moses came by the well. The Messiah will draw the water from the well because he is the owner of this.
Yeshua mentions this in John 4, Yochanan 4. He says, if you would have known who have asked you to draw water, you would have asked him for the Mayim Chaim, for the living water.
It says by the Ramban in connection to Zechariah 9:9 with harmony of what you say. He said he was oppressed and he was afflicted. For when he first come, meek and riding upon an ass, the oppressors and officers of every city will come to him and afflict him with reveling and insult, reproaching both him and the God who the name he appears, like Moses our master. The Messiah, not only that he will be greater than Moses, but as we learn, he will be the one that holds the authority to bring mercies to the world.
Wow.
It's amazing, and it's hard to imagine a human being that will be able to do such a miraculous thing.
It's so incredible, and this is one of the most amazing things here in the Pesik Rabbati. God asked the Messiah, "Are you willing to suffer for the sins of the world?" And he says, "With joy in my heart and gladness in my soul, I do this."
So we have to understand something. When we put our trust in the Messiah of Israel, we don't put our trust in man.
Right.
That will be a direct prohibition of Deuteronomy 4, Deuteronomy 17. We put our trust in the mighty one of Israel, who have sent an atonement to the world, to the one that hold the authority, to hold all the mercies, all the mercies of the world right there in the palm of his hand.
Right.
We're talking about the authority of the mighty one of Israel at the end of the day.
This is the message of the word. He who is thirsty, let him come.
Amen, amen. What a good word to conclude in another fascinating lesson. Binyamin, brachot to you when the Messiah and the mighty one of Israel continue to bless you with all the good things from above. To you who watch it, write us. Have a pilpul with us, discuss it with us. Let us know how we can encourage your faith. If you do not know who is the Jewish Messiah, write us and we will send you a free gift. Visit us online at www.ahavatami.org. May the God of Israel bless you with all good things. Shalom v'leitraot.